the historical roots of the city and empire of Rome extend far beyond the official founding date of 753 BC. This ancient knowledge is primarily derived from Virgil's epic poem Aeneid and the first book of Livy's History of Rome. The narrative unfolds as follows. Hero Aeneas escapes the destruction in Troy, taking his elderly father Anchises and son Ascanius with him. However, as in many mythological tales, Aeneas's actions will not go unrewarded. Vengeful gods unleash giant waves and storms upon Aeneas and the other refugees, drifting aimlessly at sea for 7 years, waiting for the wrath of the gods to subside. Naturally, this ordeal serves as the price that must be paid in our story. Subsequently, the narrative delves into the construction of future mythological roots. By chance, Aeneas's ship reaches Carthage, where the Phoenician exile queen Dido is building a new city. Aeneas's divine mother desires to protect her son and thus plans to marry him to Dido. Although this plan works well for a while, the king of the gods, Jupiter, reveals greater plans for Aeneas. He is commanded to fulfill a more significant historical mission, requiring him to leave Dido. The African Phoenician lover curses Aeneas for this act, declaring perpetual enmity between their nations, and eventually takes her own life. Dido's blood symbolizes a pact with the gods, laying the mythological foundations for enmity between Rome and Carthage. After departing from Carthage, Aeneas, now with divine support, sets sail north. His calm journey transitions to a new phase when he lands in the Gulf of Naples. Now, he must prove himself. Is Aeneas a courageous and skillful leader, capable of fulfilling Jupiter's given task, or will he prove to be a coward, fleeing at the first serious challenge? The events in Italy will answer these questions. As Aeneas moves to conquer the Latium region, he engages in a fierce battle with the local warlord Turnus. Aeneas's divine mother intervenes once again, persuading the god Vulcan to create armor for her son. Vulcan also crafts a spear and shield for Aeneas, with the shield depicting scenes from the future Actium victory in 31 BC. Subsequently, the war dogs are unleashed, drenching the lands of Italy in blood. However, the judgment of the gods had long been made. At the climax of the battle, Aeneas succeeds in defeating Turnus, transforming him from a cowardly refugee from Troy to a legendary hero. However, Aeneas's reign is short-lived, as he dies 3 years after the war. His son Ascanius takes his place, leaving Latium and establishing a new city in Alba Longa. The story falls into a 300-year silence at this point. Alba Longa's last king, Amulius, usurps the legitimate king Numitor and turns his daughter Rhea Silvia into a Vestal virgin. Amulius's aim is to eradicate Numitor's lineage, knowing that Vestal virgins are forbidden to bear children. Thus, Amulius believes Silvia's death will legitimize his lineage. However, the gods had other plans. Silvia becomes pregnant by the war god Mars, and soon the twins whose destinies would shape the known world are born, Remus and Romulus. News of the twins quickly spreads, reaching the ears of the usurper king, who goes mad with rage. He orders the twins to be thrown into the Tiber River. In Roman myths, regardless of the circumstances, the gods had to choose sides. It was necessary to return to the place where the events began, namely Latium. Therefore, the gods took back the good fortune they had granted to Amulius and blessed Remus and Romulus instead. Although thrown into the river, the twins miraculously survive and, with the motif of the she-wolf commonly found in ancient traditions, manage to stay alive. The subsequent part of the story becomes more classical. After being nurtured by the she-wolf for a while, the twins are discovered and raised by the royal shepherd Faustulus. Of course, when they become adults, they learn who Amulius is and proceed to dethrone him, placing Numitor in power. The twins' luck seems to have turned. However, the house of Aeneas is now tainted with murder, and more bloodshed will follow. After establishing Numitor on the throne, Remus and Romulus decide to found their own kingdoms where they emerged from the river. Luck eventually helps them reach Latium. However, a new problem awaits them there. The location for the city's foundation is clear, but the question of which brother is the rightful heir divides the twins. Romulus and his followers settle on the Palatine Hill, while Remus and his supporters choose the Aventine Hill. While waiting for a sign from the gods, both sides fall into a deathly silence. Eventually, 6 vultures are seen above the hill where Remus is situated. However, a while later, 12 vultures appear above the hill where Romulus has settled. The gods have not spoken clearly. Is priority decisive, or is the number? Claims and counterclaims lead to anger and abuse. Therefore, Romulus takes immediate control and starts building the city. He and his followers embark on constructing a wall that divides the city. Meanwhile, Remus crosses to the other side of the wall to challenge him. This act will cost him his life, as Romulus will not tolerate this insult and kills his brother. Thus, Rome is founded in 753 BC through a fratricidal act. Romulus becomes its first king. From this point on, the story begins to turn into reality. Romulus's needs appear more realistic and plausible. The new king requires soldiers and settlers to expand his city. Therefore, he opens the city to bandits, exiles, fugitives, and slaves. To find them wives, he attacks the Sabine tribe and abducts their women. He even shares rulership with the Sabine king Titus Tatius. Each of these issues seems like real problems waiting to be solved by a real king. Rome, established by Romulus, is built on murder. Thus, blood becomes the defining symbol of the state from its early days. However, like in every empire, this blood is veiled with splendor and grandeur in Rome.